Jeffrey Edward Epstein was an American financier and businessman. He was born on January 20th, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York, into a Jewish family. He began his career as a teacher, but later became involved in banking and finance through various business ventures. By working as a financial consultant, particularly in income and expense management, he quickly accumulated significant wealth and became a multi-millionaire. Among the people with whom Epstein maintained long-term business and personal relationships were figures such as Donald Trump, Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, and Prince Andrew, Duke of York, names associated with the world's financial, political, and cultural elites. Epstein was known not only for his wealth, but also for his close connections with politicians, members of royal families, and celebrities. However, behind this glamorous lifestyle, allegations emerged over the years that he had built a systematic network involving the exploitation and trafficking of underage girls. Epstein was first accused in 2005 in Palm Beach, Florida, of abusing underage girls. Police became involved after a woman reported that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been abused by a wealthy man named Jeff. Shortly thereafter, the FBI joined the investigation. As the case developed, more allegations surfaced, and the number of alleged victims grew to approximately 40. The case was handled by Alexander Acosta, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida at the time, who later served as Secretary of Labor during President Trump's first term. However, in 2008, a plea agreement was reached with federal authorities. Under this agreement, Epstein avoided federal charges and instead pleaded guilty to 2 state offenses related to the solicitation and exploitation of a minor. As part of this deal, Epstein served 13 months in jail under highly unusual conditions, which allowed him to spend 6 days a week working from his office in Palm Beach. Acosta later acknowledged that the agreement was exceptionally lenient and stated that intelligence officials had advised him at the time to back off from Epstein, suggesting that the financier was considered important to another federal matter. In the years following the plea deal, numerous civil lawsuits were filed against Epstein. In 2023, JPMorgan Chase and Deutsche Bank AG were sued on allegations that they had knowingly enabled Epstein's criminal activities. In 2018, investigative journalist Julie K. Brown published a series of reports in the Miami Herald identifying approximately 80 alleged victims who claimed they had been abused by Epstein or his associates. These reports led to renewed scrutiny of the case and ultimately resulted in a new federal indictment against Epstein in 2019. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey on federal charges related to human trafficking and the exploitation of minors, and was detained without bail. Later that month, he was found in his Manhattan jail cell with injuries that suggested a suicide attempt. Despite this, he was removed from suicide watch less than a week later. On August 9th, the day before his death, Epstein's cellmate was transferred out of the cell and no replacement was assigned. That night, in violation of jail protocols, Epstein was not checked by guards for approximately 3 hours. Additionally, surveillance cameras outside his cell were found to be malfunctioning. On the morning of August 10, 2019, Epstein was found dead in his cell. His death was officially ruled a suicide. The first 2,000 pages of court documents related to the case were released to the public in 2019, followed by additional releases in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Many of these documents had previously been sealed to protect the privacy rights of both victims and defendants. As of January 12, 2024, newly unsealed court records included portions of a lawsuit filed in 2015 by Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate and former partner. Virginia Giuffre has stated that she was one of the underage victims in Epstein's exploitation network and has alleged that she was forced into encounters with prominent men in Epstein's circle, including Prince Andrew of the British royal family. The unsealed documents consist of court filings, emails, police reports, government records, and testimonies from key figures in the case, including former employees of Epstein and Maxwell, victims, and law enforcement officers. According to those closely following the case, the released documents do not reveal many entirely new facts. However, they have renewed scrutiny of some of the individuals named and have provided victims with a broader platform for their accounts to be heard. At the same time, the documents raise new questions about the potential involvement of influential figures connected to Epstein. The continued sealing of certain records, combined with the fact that Epstein can no longer testify, has deepened uncertainty and fueled ongoing speculation. The court filings also reference locations where the alleged crimes took place. Victims have described being taken to various properties, including a mansion in New York, a residence in Palm Beach, a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and a ranch near Santa Fe. The Caribbean islands of Little St. James and Great St. James, referred to by some witnesses as Pedophile Island, are among the most frequently mentioned locations in the case. These islands are alleged to have served as central hubs in Epstein's human trafficking operation. Following Epstein's death, the islands were put up for sale and later purchased by Stephen Deckhoff, who has since begun developing a luxury resort project on the property.